What is going on, everybody? It's Alex coming back at you with another video. And today, this is one of my most anticipated videos for this series, the Philadelphia Eagles season preview. My best friend is an Eagles fan, and you know what? I love hearing all about them and studying them. This has been awesome. And again, I know this series honestly doesn't really get very much traction, and I like to make it for you guys because it's a fun learning experience. So thank you guys for those of you who do watch it and do support me. If you guys are new, feel free to stick around, like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun YouTube jazz. Guys, hit the notification bell. Make content like this all the time. Let's kick right into this. Again, very excited for this. Let's go over, you guys know the drill if you guys are new here. We're going over all the rookies first. Start off getting Jordan Davis with the trade up. Technically, also a second first round pick was AJ Brown. Awesome. But studying purely the Philadelphia Eagles draft, Jordan Davis, I thought that was a phenomenal move. Again, Fletcher Cox coming up to kind of the peak of his career, if not the end of his career. So Jordan Davis, absolutely great to have somebody of that size, that build, and that athleticism be able to learn from somebody like that. So I'm a big fan of Jordan Davis right there. Cam Jurgens, I thought that was a little bit high for him. He's been performing really well. I think that, again, not a bad move at all. I thought it was a little bit early, and that's perfectly fine. Really solid center, very, very athletic. It's definitely somebody that you're going to want on your roster. And I think he's going to be able to be a fine starter. So what if a guy who's 40 pounds heavier than you and runs, honestly, probably faster than you, takes advantage of you from time to time? I think Jordan Davis is going to be a premier interior defensive lineman, somebody who's very rarely worth a first round pick. So big fan of him. Nakobe Dean was an absolute steal. Again, we all know that. That was just pretty much down to injuries. Kyron Johnson's a really fun guy to have as a guy next to Hassan Reddick because he's super young, 4'3", 40 as an edge rusher. Pretty cool. And then pony up Grant Calcaterra, tight end from SMU. Perfect dude to have there as a depth tight end. I thought this was absolutely awesome. This was an amazing draft. Again, I want to give it an A+. Cam Jurgens, I thought was just a little bit early, and honestly, I can't even complain about that. So let's get right into the roster. So let's start off. We all know that Sport Track organizes it by alphabetical order. We're not going to do that. We're going to be going through it as a quarterback, running back, wide receiver. You guys know the drill. Jalen Hurts, this is the big question of the year. Is Jalen going to take another step to a true franchise quarterback? I think he can. I really do. I think that his play has honestly not been too shabby. Again, I was a big fan of the Eagles last year. Everybody was saying this team might win 0 games. I gave them 9 wins or 10 wins. Check the tape. I believe in this team. I still do. I think Jalen Hurts is continuing to develop. He's a guy who has a great mentality. He is going to be able to lead this franchise. I'm praying. And if he can't, you guys have the draft capital to be able to at least attempt to get a true franchise quarterback. So I think the future is very bright for Philly. You got Kenny Gainwell, Miles Sanders here. I do think that a true running back one is something you should be trying to strive for, but Kennedy Brooks got to be mentioned in there as well. It's not a liability. I don't say it's a major asset. I don't think it's going to be one of the things that I put as the best on the team, but I think that, when you look at it, it's not going to be something that brings you down, especially if Miles Sanders could stay healthy. So praying for y'all on that front. AJ Brown, the acquisition of the first round. Yeah, trading pick 18 for him. That was an excellent move. Again, he is going to be a polished dude. You give him $25 million a year. It makes sense. He's going to be a true wide receiver one for you. And it was the guy who I was saying Devonta Smith should have across from him. That's what I was saying. Hey, maybe you guys should draft. Wow, I'm tripping. Treylon Burks. And you got even better. You guys had the money. So you're saying, hey, let's use it properly. Let's get that guy. Let's not have a question mark as to whether A.J. Brown will be the outcome of Treylon Burks. Let's just get A.J. Brown. Let's get the real deal. Phenomenal move. Big fan of what happened right there. Devonta Smith, obviously the Slim Reaper. He's a beast. Again, I think that he's a phenomenal player. Again, I was hoping for Micah Parsons when you guys drafted him, but it's understandable. He's a really good wide receiver. Wide receiver 3 is a little bit questionable. I think Quez is honestly really damn solid. Jalen Reagor has just been Jalen Reagor, unfortunately. But Quez has been a very solid gadget weapon, really good deep threat. I hope he continues to develop into a well-rounded receiver. I don't know if I actually have the faith for that, but, fingers crossed right there. You got Zach Pascal here, a very solid wide receiver. Again, you got him on a cheap contract. I like that. Greg Ward as well. Dion Kane's one of my favorite wide receivers. People underrate him all the time. I think he's somebody who I just have like a soft spot for. A big fan of him. John Hightower, another solid weapon there. So you have weapons. I would say maybe getting a true wide receiver 3 would be a not terrible option, but you're really nitpicking when it comes to that. Quez Watkins is an amazing wide receiver 3. So transitioning to the tight ends, you got Dallas Goedert, JJ Arcega-Whiteside, and Grant Calcaterra. So Richard Rodgers is even in here as well. You have a good group of guys. Dallas Goedert's a true tight end 1. I love that. Arcega-Whiteside was really good at being able to be one-on-one and being able to box guys out. This might be actually a legitimate move for him that could end up paying off. And Grant Calcaterra is a really good receiving threat. He had some concussion issues, but you know what? His talent is undeniable. Let's look at the offensive line here. Mailata got paid. He got paid during the season. He's been performing very well. Obviously a big hit. We all knew that he was like that celebrity from Australia. He's coming here, rugby player, hasn't even played really football. So, he ended up working out. And sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't. But it ended up working out, and that's great because you don't have to pay $64 million to Andre Dillard, but you guys can either shop him. I think he might be gone by the trade deadline given the amount of offensive linemen on your roster, but still a very solid offensive tackle. It's nothing special. He didn't turn out to be worth a first-round pick, but you tried. I could never fault a team for trying. Then you have Elaine Johnson, of course. If he can stay healthy, that's going to be great. Getting up there in age, which for his style as an athletic tackle is a little bit concerning, but I could sleep on it. I'm not that worried. I will say Andre Dillard is the only legitimate tackle depth that I can see. And then you also, I believe, have Jack Driscoll who could play some reps there. I'd just be a little bit worried about that. But you got Isaac Suamalu here, Landon Dickerson, Jack Driscoll. You do have guys who could fill in. Jack Anderson as well is pretty damn solid, along with the centers. Where they at? Jason Kelsey, Cam Jurgens. Like, you have a really good offensive line core. I would just hope that Jack Driscoll can legitimately play right tackle for a good amount. If he can, then you guys are A-okay. And let's start off looking at the defense. We're building from the defensive line out, starting off with the defensive tackle room or the interior defensive linemen. Javon Hargrave, Jordan Davis, Fletcher Cox, Milton Williams, Marlon Tuipulotu even. This might be the best in the NFL. You have an all-pro level player in Fletcher Cox when he hits his stride. You have the potential successor who could be an absolute dominating threat at his size and athleticism, Jordan Davis. Javon Hargrave's been a nasty pass rushing threat. You have Milton Williams, who was he was my interior defensive lineman too when his draft came around. So, he has unbelievable potential. A bit undersized, but I saw some plays that made me really, really, really think that this guy could be a premier interior defensive lineman. So you even have Marvin Wilson here. There are some great dudes. Marlon Tuipulotu as a interior defensive lineman 4. Wait, no, that's interior defensive lineman 5. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Defensive end wise or / edge, we should probably call it that way. Brandon Graham, Josh Sweat, BG is always going to be solid. He's up for a contract this year. We'll see what happens. Josh Sweat, if I'm not mistaken, got a 3-year and, made the Pro Bowl technically, but solid player overall. Nothing special in my opinion. Derek Barnett, again, somebody who's not very special in my eyes, but again, solid. You're getting guys who are very solid and they're not going to be liabilities to your team. Taron Jackson has a lot of upside. Same thing with Patrick Johnson. Remember when those guys were drafted? It was like last year. Okay. I'm not going to get on a high horse for that one, but you have some really solid edge rushers. I think that the interior is solid. I mean, your interior is unbelievable, but the edge room, solid. Linebacker wise, I know you have Hassan Reddick that could also pass rush. Like, obviously that was what he's shined at over in Arizona. So I think that he'll also be taking some reps over there. Davion Taylor and Kyzir White. Davion, we're still seeing for him to take his stride. Could happen, could also not. We'll see. Kyzir White is a very, very, very good pickup. Nakobe Dean on the interior along with TJ Edwards. I'm going to be a big fan of that. Kyron Johnson is also going to be a really fun option. Again, that 4.38 speed at 230 pounds is certainly something to be excited about. Let's look at the safeties here. Starting off with Kayvon Wallace, Marcus Epps. Kayvon Wallace still waiting for him to be like a legit dude. Jacoby Stevens, linebacker, safety hybrid. Very interesting to see how he ends up. Reed Blankenship, he's there. But I want to be able to check out where's the free safeties at. Here we go. Anthony Harris, Jaquiski Tart, both guys who are really solid. I think they're going to probably take the majority of the reps there. You guys can, of course, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm always willing to accept criticism because when it comes to it, being arrogant gets me absolutely nowhere. So I appreciate your guys' help. Safety is definitely going to need to be a priority of this team to be able to get some extra DBs up in here. They've been able to patch it very well. I feel like I'm missing somebody in that safety room, but I think that's probably their weakest point on their entire roster at this spot, since Nakobe Dean kind of patched that linebacker spot pretty well. But let's look at the corners and let's just get right into it, man. You got Darius Slay, James Bradbury, Avonte Maddox, amazing trio. Zach McPherson's hopefully going to take another step this year. Jimmy Moreland, a very good slot depth. Tay Gowan, another really good player. Josiah Scott as well, pretty solid. You even got Mario Goodrich on here, Josh Jobe. Don't know how many of these guys are going to make the roster, but you have a lot of really good players. So the sky's the limit for this team. I'm really a little bit more so worried about the safeties, but when you have really good corners, the impact to safeties doesn't need to be nearly as high. So let's just pray that that is going to be good enough. Let's get right into this. You know what? We're not even going to take a break. I've been a big fan of the Eagles. I've been on record saying that I think they can make it to the Super Bowl. So let's get right into it. Eagles going to the Lions week 1. They're going to have a lot of juice. They're going to have a lot of fight in them. That's still not going to be enough. I think that the run game of the Eagles is already established. There's not really anybody new except A.J. Brown in there that really can disrupt that flow. I don't think that's very much different on the Detroit Lions side either, but I just think the Eagles are a much better team. The Vikings, I've heard some really good things about them. And again, these records can be flipped later on in retrospect. So if there is a game where I think we'll win, might lose, you guys might lose it later. But majority of the time, I know 99% of the roster, and most of the time it's just more so fun being able to see and get refreshed on the dudes there. The Vikings, when you think about it, they have a pretty damn solid defense. They are a really good team, but you're going to Philly. I'm rocking Philly right there. Carson Wentz is coming back for his revenge. Again, it's a brand new quarterback, so I'm going to be going with the Eagles here. It is kind of ballsy as all hell to do this, but again, Eagles are at home. I'm going to take them over Jacksonville. I think the Cardinals are going to be good this year. I think they are. They're investing a lot in win now, so I'm going to be going with that. Cowboys, they're a little bit sus this year. I've been giving them a lot more credit than they deserve. So I'm going to be going there with the Eagles. Them over the Steelers, I do think is a very big possibility. The Steelers don't even know if they actually have a commander at the helm. And this team, again, could just run right through them. Losing Stephon Tuitt, not very good. Eagles then going to the Texans, another team that's still developing. People got mad at me because they gave them 4 wins. I was trying to be a big fan of the team too. I just can't really say much. At this time, Carson Wentz is back in Philly. I still think those corners are locked down. I really think that Washington's going to be at the top of the draft next year. I have very little faith. I think that them going after Carson Wentz was a great idea. You're giving your best shot, but at the same time, it is ballsy as hell, man, to just go and give up everything for a quarterback and just stick him into a system that really doesn't fit very well in. I just don't really know if he has it in him anymore. So that's a little unfortunate. The Colts are dominant. I think they're going to be a great team this year. Packers, that's actually tough because I don't know how much I believe in that offensive line. And you're in Philly. We're going to go Philadelphia. Yeah, that's a ballsy pick right there. I know. The defense is really good, but I would say that I would lean the Philadelphia Eagles because of the fact that you just don't have enough weapons there in Green Bay. Again, I think the interior of the defensive line plus the linebacker here in Philly is just going to be over the top. They're going to be able to take the dub right there. The Giants, I'm going to call this one an upset. This is going to be an upset here. I think that the Giants could definitely come in and just surprise a lot of people. I don't really have much faith in them. I have a feeling Tyrod Taylor might be the quarterback, but I think Tyrod Taylor is definitely good enough to squeeze out a victory or two. The line honestly isn't the issue for them. They have weapons everywhere. They have deep threats, which I think could expose that potential safety issue. I do think the Giants could end up squeezing out a victory right here. Eagles are going to beat the Bears. I don't think the Bears could end up winning 0 games legitimately. Cowboys, Eagles, they're at home, and I think the Eagles at this point are dominant. So we're going to go with the Cowboys here. It's pretty normal to, take a home team when like the energy especially is at the level that it is right now. Eagles are going to beat the Saints at home. That's just the way it is. And they're going to win week 18 versus the Giants. I'm not a fan of the Saints overall. Again, their quarterback discontinuity scares the living hell out of me because of the fact that, you need to get a rhythm. You need to get that team chemistry going. And I like Jameis Winston a lot. I also don't trust him to be able to stay healthy. As you guys can see, I'm very home team biased because of the fact, especially when they're outdoors. That's kind of the big thing. It's just a different environment that one team is comfortable in, the other team is not. So where does that put us? I swear to God, don't kill me now. Okay, 13-4. Okay, so I have them actually as the highest record in the entire league. So call me crazy. I'm not an Eagles fan at all, for the record. I'm not. I'm a Steelers fan, which I gave you guys a win over my Steelers. I'm a realist here. The team is loaded. Like the safeties and wide receiver 3 are the biggest issues, and I don't think wide receiver 3 is an issue. Like if Nakobe Dean's healthy and plays at the level we think he will, there's no reason this team shouldn't get anywhere. I mean, again, quarterback is the question mark, but I'm calling them to be able to sweep at home. I think they could really do it. And that's the way it's going to be, y'all. So let me know what you guys think. I know I pissed off some people there. I'm considering flipping that Vikings game, though. Ooh. Okay, for the people who are actually watching, I am going to flip it. I don't think the Eagles start off 4-0 because I think Dalvin Cook could kind of like stop that. Okay, so for you guys who actually watched, we're 12-5, still leading the league. Who cares? Let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the far side. Peace.